Yes, because you have the frontliner and the Dawnbreaker. You're probably gonna have another hero that does well and just standing its ground, so the Dawnbreaker can come in with the heal. I think it's gonna be easier for them to kind of hold that position that you need when you're playing these defensive heroes. And guess what? We are gonna see the Marcy, and it is a lane dominating hero, so it is kind of in the alley there. But when you mentioned the Clockwork, I thought they might go for it. The Clockwork Snapfire is actually an amazing support duo.
Clock Snap is good. Also makes the Skyrat's life very hard. But they do actually, I do kind of like the comboing up abilities in terms of dispose into the link. Razor already gets well, with the maxed out stun, 2.1 second stun duration, 2 seconds of free link damage for the Razor to build up, and enables the Puck and the Snapfire to make their own plays. But Marcy does buff up the Razor if the Razor doesn't get the link to connect, because you've got Sidekick that buffs up your damage. So I'm a fan of this hero, especially in this draft. I like that Mind Games are going for it. But Rune Eaters, what do they need? They don't have stuns really, except for the Dawnbreaker.
I think this is actually a tough one for them. You need something that is good against the Razor. What comes to mind is like a Morphling as a hero, as a carry. You need something that's gonna be able to keep their distance. And I would say you want to go for a magic damage dealer in the mid lane. Something like an Ember Spirit comes to mind as a good one. A good setup for the Skywrath Mage ulti. Unless you're going to be playing something like a core Dawnbreaker, or a carry Dawnbreaker. So they go for the Lina.
Does that count in your books?
That is okay, because you have the saves. You have the Dawnbreaker, you have the Dazzler. You're probably going to be going for a first item BKB. You stand your ground. If anyone comes to you, you have the heals and you can rip them apart. But I think now the Razor has a clean target. You go on the Lina, you take away her damage, and Rune Eaters are in trouble. So in that regard, I'm a bit scared. But I think this Lina can work. It is a solid pick for sure.
I am pretty curious to see if the Dawnbreaker ends up being something like an offlaner, for example, for Rune Eaters. And is that something that Cloud specifically has asked for? Because he's kicked from the team, right? And he's come back to help his team out when they really need him in the most important moment, because they've already filled their substitute cap, and they have to play with the original DPC roster they lined up and locked in for the season, for the tour. So what's Cloud's motivation? Has Rune Eaters motivated him, or is he here to show all those potential open qualifier teams, maybe another Division 2 team, maybe even a Div 1 team, not to think about the TI qualifiers, but from there, like you look about the next starting tour, everybody has 0 points. There's going to be reshuffles. Maybe Cloud wants to be one of those players to make a statement that he's a viable player. What is his motivation?
I'm not sure. I know that Valve is one of those parents. You know, they say you have to hang out with this kid because his parents are nice people, and you're like, but I don't wanna. But yeah, you're gonna have to. So I'm thinking Cloud probably doesn't feel welcome there. I would assume that is the case. How much that is going to influence his gameplay is probably going to matter on how the laning phase goes, because if the laning phase goes badly, everyone is just going to feel bad about the whole situation. It's going to be awkward. But if it starts going well, I don't think it will matter much in the grand scheme of things.
Juggernaut's going to be the finalizer for Mind Games. So we're looking at Razor, most likely as a 3 or a 2, depending where they want to put the Snapfire and the Puck. So most likely offlane Razor, going together with, it could be Snap, it could be Marcy. They could swap things around if they wanted to. But Rune Eaters, you've got the magic damage mid laner, what you were looking for through the Lina. What kind of carry matchup are you looking for here against the Juggernaut?
I think Morphling. I think Morphling does make a lot of sense here.
What about Alchemist?
You could struggle in... No, you actually are not gonna struggle in lane. You have so much minus armor, the Razor won't be able to get close. Could be good. Could be good. I wouldn't mind. And they go for the DK, so it means that it is a Dawnbreaker carry. A Dawnbreaker carry plus a Dazzle 5. This Razor isn't gonna have the nicest of times. Bignum on the Marcy is really gonna have to be using that rebound so that the Razor can run out, because if you don't have the rebound and they just start smashing this Razor's head, he will actually die. I thought they were gonna put the Dawnbreaker in the off lane just because she has a lot of HP and can survive against the Juggernaut, but they went for the Dragonite. Okay, I'm liking this Rune Eater's lineup quite a lot. This is the way that you play defensive heroes. You have a tanky guy in front, you have a guy that deals massive amounts of damage, and then, you know, this Dazzle is just behind both of them and just protecting the Lina. If they go for the Dragonite, they're not gonna be boding well because the Lina will destroy them. If they go for the Lina, they're not gonna be able to bring her down from 100 to 0 because the Dazzle is there. And of course, with the pick-off potential, I think this Rune Eater's lineup, it has everything other than mind games. With the Juggernaut carry, they might scale better into the later portions of the game.
Yeah, potentially. I kind of like what Rune Eaters are doing with their draft here. I'm still maybe a bit I don't know what to think about Cloud. I think he's the wild card here, in all honesty. I mean, he could be anything this series. So if I would have to, I'm just gonna jump in the mind games hype train. Maybe look for a 2-0 here in this, these tiebreakers. Close it out, you know. Maybe they have that confidence coming out from that game, number one. But the most important lesson is never underestimate your opponent. And that is the worst possible mistake that you can do. So with that being said, Rune Eaters are going to give a hell of a fight.
I'm definitely going for Rune Eaters here. I'm sorry, Panda, I have to go against you. I just see them having a response to everything. I see them having the response to everything. Yeah, I need to get like a goatee and paint it white so that I'm like an old guy, an old sage, just spreading wisdom.
You are a wise samurai.
And you're gonna be adding the sound effects, so that is gonna be quite nice. But I'm seeing Rune Eaters having.
Maybe I should start voice acting. Hairy Freaks, Parallel Universe. What's it called? Mirror Image? I guess you could say it that way.
A doppelganger. I mean, you even have a spell in Dota that is literally called like that, and you don't remember. I have to say I'm a bit disappointed, Panda, but okay.
Well, I mean, Naga makes literal images of herself called mirror images, so I guess I'm the Naga player and you're the PL player. But hey, I guess we're both filthy illusion spammers in some way. But we're going to kick this game off with our bounty runes already getting spawned. Bignum is establishing a perimeter. This is a line that you do not cross if you want to run into some hostile mind games heroes. So that's going to be bounties 2 for 2 to kick things off.
Oriented 2000 really want to put in some pain onto Bignum or anyone else for that matter. But with that nice ward that was placed from Mind Games, first it saw the potential for Rune Eaters to get that first blood, so no one went on the high ground, and now. Of course, it gave them the info that they really wanted to put some pain onto this Marcy, though. None of those things are gonna happen for them.
One thing that I really love about player nicknames is actually TA2000, because he has a pretty good rhyme to his name when you think about it. Like, if he were to be like this tier 1 player in the world, you know, like a top 10 player and has a huge fan base, take Thompson for example, you have this crowd just going TA2K, TA2K. You know, he's got the rhyme for it, but he needs to prove himself to be one of those.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Rune Eaters are not going to be going to the major. These are not tiebreakers for the major. These are the tiebreakers not to get relegated. So he needs a little bit more time before we're hearing those chants. But I think if he hears this cast, maybe he wasn't thinking about it when he actually went for his name. And when now he finds out that people are going to be screaming his name with such ferocity with which you used it, I would get the motivation for sure.
It's a good buffer, at least, in terms of motivation, because TA2000, I mean, it's better than his previous nickname. Don't Google it, by the way. That's a pretty wild one. But outside of that, Lina versus Puck, one of your mid-lane classics, in a sense. Lina's going to have a very fun time battling this out against Ninecrad. See the heavy damage that's already flying out. Lina with the right-click damage advantage, spell advantage. Pumping bait spells as well, basically. So Puck phase shift level 1 is Not the best against Lina.
This lineup of Rune Eaters is literally a puck counter lineup. You have a Dragonite, which the puck hates playing against in the lane, in the game, doesn't matter. You have a Lina that crushes him in the lane completely, and then you have a Skywrath Mage, which is pretty much the bane of puck's existence. So top lane, we might finally see our first blood.
Does look like it. The spin's going to be rolling far enough, but the Fairy Fire is going to be keeping the Dragon Knight alive just a bit longer. Arrow providing with the extra heals, but this is kind of surprising in a sense that usually when you see a Skywrath in a lane, you're the ones getting bullied and constantly poked and prodded. Now it's going the other way around. Snapfire and Juggernaut doing some good work.
It did happen while we were looking at the mid lane. The Skywrath Mage forced Dinosauric to go for a healing ward early on. You can already see that Dinosauric is having some mana issues, and that is because Arrow was super aggressive in the first two waves. So you know you. Bullied the Juggernaut. You can see that he is struggling in terms of CS, and you're gonna allow your DK to get level 3 now with 2 points in Dragon's Blood. It's gonna be much tougher for Mind Games to kill him. I'm kind of thinking that was their last clean shot that they get.
It is 3-2 o'clock in the game so far. No kills on either side. Lina is absolutely rocking the CS department currently with 21 last hits, and hey, Minecraft with 14. Missed a couple ones as well under the tower earlier on, so XP advantage ain't really going in the favor of either of them as they're tied up. And Arrow's going to be first blood by the looks of it. The slow does come out as the spin ends, but Cloud is unable to save his buddy. Dinosauric, he scores the first blood, and Mind Games continuing on a roll just like last game.
Weird positioning coming out from Arrow. Usually when you have a fat hero like the DK, you want to be standing away from the enemies from where your Dragonite is. So if your Dragonite is on the right, you're on the left side of the lane. But Arrow, he just had a lot of faith in the movement speed of the Skywrath Mage, and to be honest, he does have a lot of it. But with Jugger having the boots and you playing against the Fire Staff Cookie, you're just not going to be able to outrun them.
A really good combo. Exactly what we wanted to see. The Link comes out first, followed up with the Repose into the Dispose. So we have the full-out duration Link, 72 damage for the Razor. Dawn takes some nasty beating out of that. Petushara.
Top lane again.
I like the idea of them playing there. And here we go with the spin. They will secure Arrow again. They can't kill the DK. He's pretty much unkillable at this point with the double bracers. But as long as they can keep farming on the sky, they're happy with it.
Yeah, they're more than happy. Again, Arrow makes a slight mistake. This time around, he was on the right side of the DK, but he was right next to him. So again, giving a opportunity for Mind Games to strike. And, you know, sometimes these opportunities are given and the enemies do not respond properly, but Mind Games have really read this quite nicely, though. We see this ward being placed, and if anyone gets close, it will get dewarded. So, Slayer, that's a really nice ward spot. You're never gonna expect that there's already a random sentry there that was used to potentially deward the camp, just laying in wait, and that could be a freebie for Arrow that would give him some much needed golden experience that he doesn't have because of his deaths.
Yep. Extra gold is always welcome when it comes to that, but our early wards expiring already in the mid lane, so they're blind for the time being. 10 seconds for the first POW rune. We see 3 heroes from Mind Games already moving around in the mid area, establishing that perimeter we were talking about earlier on. But Bignum goes it for Haze. What a move here, but the coil comes out. It doesn't quite break it, and now Marcy is in trouble. Lina, no Laguna Blade leveled up, and doesn't have it available, but Bignum is low, but the cookie connects on Lina. Grave comes out from Kaori. They take down Bignum. They want this kill so bad. Yes, they will take down the Lina. Minecraft's happy with that. It's a worthy trade in the end. 1 for 1, but mid-game. Mind Games take down the mid hero.
That is the thing. The Grave used to always be 5 seconds, and with Dazzle not being played much, people aren't really used that it is scaling from 4 to 5.5 seconds. And the Lina just a little bit too late with her TP. But yeah, that was a nice attempt coming out from Rune Eaters. But in the end, Mind Games, they brought more. They understand where you need to be playing. So to be honest, when you have a Lina in your team, you kind of want to be around her because she's just so damn strong at the start of the game.
First early 7 minutes, Juggernaut and Dawnbreaker having having the rougher time compared to the others, and they actually piled up to kill Cloud. I was not even looking at the top lane because I wasn't suspecting that to happen, but with Slayer and Bignum both stacking up, that wasn't even an Omni Slash used. Dinosauric just hit level 6 thanks to the kill that they established on the DK in the top lane. So now you've killed both of the offlaners from Rune Eaters, and this Jug is actually pretty happy with that happening. He's got 2 kills already on him, and he's starting to build towards a Maelstrom.
Yeah, these rotations from Bignum have really put a lot of impact there. With him dying against the Lina, you actually don't know where exactly he's gonna go. The Razor on his own is gonna do well against the Dawnbreaker, so you're kind of open to do whatever you want with the Marcy. Bignum, though, now he's under vision, so wherever he goes, Rune Eaters are gonna be ready for him.
Seems Cloud is gonna go for the stun on the Juggernaut. But Dinozavrik, he is unfazed by this. There's some movement in the top lane as Kaori with Arrow. Looking for an opening here. Remember that the Omni Slash is still available. It could be used to kill one of these supports. And now the puck rotation. This could backfire. Einkrad.
They saw him.
As they saw him DPing in, and there's the coil. Will connect onto the sky. The silence does come out, but the stun connected onto the Juggernaut. Dawnbreaker wants a piece of this action as well. And TA2000 looking to kill the Juggernaut, but a bit too far away. Still has the hammer, but it's going to be enough. Cloud with the take damage and the right clicks to follow it up. They're going to take down the Juggernaut. That is a pretty good rotation in the end as they stack up with 4 heroes for the kill and looking for the tower as well.
Bit of a mistake from Minecraft. He TP'd into the part where the trees were taken down, and there was literally a line that Rune Eater supports could see the puck TP coming in. When they came in too close, the fog of war wasn't there any longer, and they knew he was coming. So you get yourself into a good position. If you're far enough away from the tower, the Dawnbreaker ulti is always going to be able to save the supports, and especially the Dragonite. So there was once they saw the TP from the puck, it was pretty much certain Rune Eaters were going to come out of that fight as the victors.
And that's really good to see as well, that the Dawnbreaker, you always know that's a +1 for ganks. Especially if you're getting jumped on, that will enable your team even more. So you have this defensive hero, defensive carry even in this game, that is able to turn things around into your favor. Minecraft's tanking quite a lot of damage from that medium camp.
He knows he's going to base.
Oh, he was just standing still, getting chewed by the wolves, and was hoping maybe somebody shows up and just tried to stay hidden in there. So I was like, wait, what are you doing? Like, are you doing some next level wait and bait?
Right now, Mind Games, they want TA2000. Look at Bignum. He knows that the Dawnbreaker is there. They know that he TP'd in, and TA2000 knows he's probably being hunted as well. So Puck missing so much. I think with Einkrad farming that stack, that is actually what saved TA2000 from dying.
DD Rune in mid-arrow is holding it for now. And Einkrad just sneaks in with the illusory orb and takes it away. As a DD Rune in the bottle for the puck. Well used, and it will pop it as well. Just might as well right-click all the way through. Bignum already taken down by TA2000. Einkrad doesn't have a low ground miss at all. But Dinozavrik with the Laguna Blade and the full-on Dragon Slave takes down the Jug. And looking for the Snapfire as well. Rune Eaters looking to get some kills in their favor. And that should be done with, or dealt with. That's a double kill for Hayes. One of them being the Juggernaut. That's a pretty big win for them, don't you think?
Yeah, it is an amazing one. This is what happens when you allow the Dawnbreaker to stay on the bottom lane for so long. And Mind Games, they still wanted to go for him. It was obvious he was onto them 2 minutes ago. And Mind Games, they still kept pushing it until Rune Eaters came in with full numbers. They gave them the Dawnbreaker a little bit farther in the lane, and then they responded. Though I have to say, Arrow is not looking like himself today. He is making so many mistakes. The one staying on the DD and just not being able to click it when you see the puck orb coming in, that is just weird. And on the top lane, his positioning was also off. So I'm hoping that Arrow gets his head in the game, because he's going to be a very important part of keeping this puck in line.
And especially, I think that's something that we talked about quite a lot, is when you look at this lane duo with DK and the Skywrath, you have potentially a one-shot combo. You Dragon Tail stun into the Mystic Flare and basically just blow anybody up who has less than 800 or 900 HP, because you have sufficient damage to do so. So it's these small things that kind of add up together, and I think you're on point with it as well, that he's not excelling so far. But hey, there's still time. There's still time to improve. At least the economy is pretty even between the two teams. It's 5 to 6.
Very important.
Into mid. Almost BKB ready.
Very important part for Mind Games is to keep this mid lane tower in check. I'm guessing the True Eaters, once they get the blink and the BKB, the blink on the DK and the BKB on the Lina, they're gonna force it down. But Mind Games have to make sure that it doesn't fall before that happens. So you make this happen by pushing out the top lane and always having a hero in the vicinity of the mid lane. And for now, they're doing just that. They're making Slayer play the dead lane on the top lane. He might pay with his life, but in the grand scheme of things, it won't really matter if your mid lane tower isn't dropping.
Sees for now. Mind Games going for the smoke play. Got the puck. They've got themselves the Snapfire Invis currently for the time being. Coil, Mortimer's Kisses. Maybe add in that cheeky Marcy with the dispose. Able to break the coil, for example. Dawnbreaker, if TA 2000 shows, might just be the call for it, and that is where you extend the line. Mortimer's Kisses, they're flying in. There's a TP coming in. They need to pump the damage, and it's gonna be enough. They actually take down the Dazzle first. Preventing that from coming out, but there's the Blink stun from Cloud, and Dino Zovrik is instantly taken away. Aincrad on the back, does actually get his items off of the courier. Nothing left behind. Arrow on the chase. Slow is available just quite now, but Aincrad could look for the dodge. There we go. Ends up in the Centaur camp. Can't see the puck anymore. While that was happening, Petushara deals a couple hits onto the mid tower. 1 for 1.
That's amazing. That's amazing for Mind Games. It was the 1 for 1. Dazzle died as well. Kaori TP'd in and he just evaporated. So, you know, people, you couldn't even see him. I think Rune Eaters, they didn't want that to happen. That is all of your TPs being forced towards the bottom lane. And yes, you get the Jugger in the end, but the thing is that you are the one that is actually being forced to make moves, whereas Mind Games, they know exactly what they're doing. And this Dragon form, you know, with the Blink Dagger, you are probably not gonna get this tower. Mind Games need... Oh, they didn't bring in the Jugger. Actually, it might actually go down now because the Jugger is not in the vicinity.
Jugger is not nearby. They don't have the help of their Marcy either. And they just continue to pummel down this tower. This mid tower is going down for free. Arrow, Kaori just giving some bodyguard here for this DK to continue pummeling. And they were looking for the deny with the Marcy illusion here. It doesn't work out. Cloud will take the mid tower down. 3:15 minutes. And there's the instant
hunting
smoke.
Time. It's hunting time. Whoever gets caught, if the Snapfire is in the vicinity to immediately use the Fire Snap cookie, that hero is dead. And if he's the one that is caught, Cloud
did get the smoke pop, but they don't know about it. They have no vision into the river whatsoever. But I guess they thought they knew because Slayer's already moved away. Plus the puck's already cleared these camps as well. So that's a bit of a missed opportunity with the smoke. Let's see if another one arises. Slayer right behind the tier 2 tower. Lina keeps the lane pushed in. Trying to force some attention, but nobody's coming to answer, so they're suspecting Mind Games might be up to something. Cloud and Arrow still looking for that Blink Stun Mystic Flare combo. Slayer, he's already finished off a Blink Dagger on the snap, so quick D-ward, Blink to safety.
The big thing is that Mind Games, they forced out so many TPs on the bottom lane and they didn't capitalize on them. And Rune Eaters, once they TP to the bot, they know that they don't want to stay there and they took the mid lane tower. Right now, I'm really liking what Rune Eaters are doing. I'm kind of scared that they're leaving the Dawnbreaker alone all the time on the bottom lane.
Long wraparound. Going very far in as well. They saw Cloud. I think they might have actually had a glimpse of Arrow. They're going so deep in. Big Num pops the Unleash for the D-ward. That's something.
He wants it down fast. He really wants it down fast.
I can see it working.
They're not making any moves. You're allowing Rune Eaters to get everything they want, and now is the timing for Rune Eaters. You have the BKB on the Lina, you have the Blink on the DK. In my mind, Rune Eaters can even start to pressure the tier 2 on top. The only thing that Mind Games are doing well right now is they're keeping their top part of the jungle secured, so they're not allowing that to happen. But at some point, Rune Eaters are gonna force it because their big items have come out right now.
Yep, and that's a shard on the DK as well. He's got that extra lane pushing power. Things are pretty well in the bag here for Rune Eaters. But you gotta get yourself ready for this Dawnbreaker, because she's coming in with some very nasty items as well. You've got the Echo Saber and the early laning stage Orb of Corrosion. When you add that up with the Shard, able to move around with your Starbreaker, and then the BKB to add up on top of that, this Dawn is going to be very difficult to deal with. But she's going to bait in the bot lane. Harry reveals himself in mid. Cloud and Arrow. Will this smoke work? Slayer's already in very good position to break some smokes.
It's looking to me like it won't, because Mind Games are playing really safe. But I think Rune Eaters are okay if the only part of the map Mind Games are controlling is this one. If you're pushing out the top lane, the mid lane, and actually defending your tier 1 on the bottom lane, you're going to be very happy if you're Rune Eaters. You can see that Mind Games are not getting close to anywhere. Sure, dodging the ganks is nice, but you're just going to be struggling in terms of net worth. And when we look at it, the cores of Rune Eaters are just looking much healthier in that regard.
Yeah. And, I mean, there's 14 kills in the game, but Petushara is just 0-0-0. Yes, he's been playing PvE so far. This Razor's just been hitting creeps all game long, and no players around his gameplay.
I would be okay with this if Mind Games were preparing to actually be able to save people from the blink stun of the DK, but none of their supports is going for a Force Staff. You know, Snapfire is going for initiation of her own, and Slayer, he does have it. The only reason that Mind Games in terms of net worth are doing well is because of the supports, especially the Snapfire. Let's see if he can do something. I'm guessing now with these two items that Mind Games are going to be wanting to go on the aggressive. They've hit their timings as well.
Force Staff is actually a really good item versus the DK Sky combo, because it takes away the Sky ulti. Once you see it popped, you Force Staff somebody to safety, save their life. Basically, Petushara is going to get the first glimpse of PvP action, and has a BKB and will pop it to keep himself alive, and still continues to have that 0-0-0 clean sheet. Maybe he's some kind of, he's not a double agent, maybe he's a triple agent.
There is one thing that I'm not liking
Roche.
the Rune Eaters. Okay, they're going into Roche thinking that the BKB popped is gonna be enough. I would like Rune Eaters to take an area and just play in it. Going for Roche is a good approach, but you might actually get low enough that Mind Games can't get in.
Oh, let's see now. The Dawnbreaker's tanking some hits. Bignum is on the side. We've got TPs kicking in from the Juggernaut as well. And that is an alarm for Rune Eaters. Get the hell out of Roche. And he is down to a quarter of HP. That's only 2,500 remaining. You've got to keep yourself on your toes. Eaters on the other side. Does Mind Games smoke up? They don't have one currently. Is it coming on the courier? Yep, there's a Marcy smoke on the way. But Rune Eaters they're already one step ahead. DD Rune for Eichrat.
He didn't even break the smoke.
He got the DD Rune, but he didn't see the incoming smoke. Very interesting interaction. Well,
I'm not liking how Rune Eaters are doing this. They're just constantly going for smokes instead of staying in an area. If anyone pokes their nose, they kill him.
They might run into Snapfire with all the vision placed down, and they're on the high ground position. They're running away from the smoke with their own smoke. And this is just a cat and mouse chase. Cloud blinks in as the smokes pop, and now Mind Games going in. The coil's going to be connecting onto two. Dawnbreaker coming in with the ulti. Denosovsky instantly spinning back to the safety, but this punk is very low on HP. It will be taken down. But Mind Games are going to be looking for the Omni Slash. Does connect onto the Dazzle, but the Ghost Scepter tanks it completely. They will take down Haze, and Arrow's dead as well. But TA2000 trying to do the most work here. Puck's coming in with the pipe, with the stun coming in from Slayer. That's going to be another one down, and Rune Eaters are down 4 heroes. And they're going to have to forfeit this Roche as well. Mind Games coming out with what I could say a bit of a misfortune for Rune Eaters in terms of how the smokes were popping, and Mind Games had everybody still in the cover of darkness, and they're going to be taking Roche for themselves. All the hard work down the drain, Harry.
I have to say, Rune Eaters, they put themselves in that position. Your lineup is just not good at smoking and running in. You want the Skywrath Mage, the Dazzle to be surrounded by wards, to be surrounded by sentries, and the DK to be the one popping smokes. If you get the stun, you destroy someone. Yep. If they go for the DK, you are still gonna crush them from the backlines with Lina. If you're smoking, you're putting all three of your heroes, the Skyret Mage, the Dazzle, and the Lina, in a bad position, unless the enemies just get caught in a really bad position. And we could see that Mind Games were constantly keeping themselves away from any kind of bad situations in this game. They were just playing around their own vision, and once they got the timings, they went forward because their lineup, well, it is very mobile. You know, Razor, Juggernaut, the Cookie, the Rebound, the Puck. We don't even need to mention him. You can be all around the place. Whereas Skyret Mage and the Dazzle, they are very, very stable heroes. They stay in place. And once you see them, they're just gone, and that is exactly what happened in this fight. And if Rune Eaters don't change their approach, I think with this kind of running around the map trying to grab kills, it's not gonna happen.
And now you have to fight against the Aegis, or at least try to avoid Mind Games for the next 4 minutes, giving that secondary life for the Juggernaut, lining up as Scotty, and Dazzle's just bought an early gem. Want to get at least some of that aggressive vision out of the way, which Mind Games is very likely start putting down. And Lina buys a Shadow Blade, so you do not want to lose this gem when your Lina in the team has also got an Invis.
I like the gem pickup. Kiori understands that vision is very important for their team. If the enemies don't have good vision, they can't split push. They have to hold an area. Their lineup is not that good at it, and you know, eventually they're gonna be running into you, being a bit more greedy, and they're gonna pay because of it. So I'm liking this one. The problem is, of course, you buy it when the enemies have the Aegis. So if Mind Games want to force the issue right now as 5 people, they can do it, and in that sense, your gem is useless because they're gonna be protecting their own wards.
DPs are kicking in, and Hayes is with the Invis, and that's a beautiful reveal of the Shadow Blade. Aegis is gone. Now the Juggernaut's gonna need some help. He's got the Manta and the dodge, and Cloud ain't there for the stun. He was, I think it was Face, just a couple inches away from actually landing the Dragon Tail stun, but that is really hard. Just instant spamming that spin, and Juggernaut is gonna be going back to safety with that. Mind Games can't just hold on to this bottom lane area, though. And DK, 1,000 gold short from that BKB, which we'd love to have. Trying to keep the wave pushed out. Maybe Mind Games sees an opening here.
They do.
Out some moves. Seeing Cloud on the lane. Quickly forward, blows up the wave. Blink to safety. Nothing happening here.
For sure. Okay, this defense of the tower does allow you to get rid of the Aegis, so now this gem might actually be useful. I'm still not liking Rune Eaters not going up the high ground there towards the enemy outpost, because that is where you need vision. That is where you need to make sure that the enemies have none. On the bottom lane, if Mind Games are controlling it, sure, you're fine, because the Jugger can't get close to the tower. He's just gonna get blown up. Same is true for any other hero. Whereas
the Puck at the top lane, what a beautiful ball! He got the shift, the face shift just out in time. He's got 20 HP, blinks away. Bignum turning around on the Lina. This could be a huge play with the BKB forced down from the Lina. Puck doesn't die, and Dino Sofric is on the chase. Covering on the side of the spin, the damage is going to be there. There's the Omni Slash, but it's on the creep wave. Out of all things, Dino Sofric, 5 seconds for the spin to be available. TA2000 with the chase, and that's a stun connection. Juggernaut in trouble. Einkrat tries to play the bait as well. Please hit me instead of my friend. And here comes Slayer. TP cancel with the cookie stun, and with a Brawling Starbreaker, will be able to get some damage done. But Dino Sofric and now Hayes will die as well. Makes it a 1-for-2 trade. In the end, does go in the favor of Rune Eaters, but it hurts losing the Lina at this stage.
This is the this is what happens when you don't see the supports, when you don't see the Dazzle. You're just gonna have such a hard time to catch the Lina that you're gonna get yourself out of position and get yourself killed. That is exactly what happened to the Juggernaut. You didn't immediately see the Dazzle, you got focused on the Lina, and once the Lina got saved, it was very easy for them to basically finish off the Juggernaut. Obviously, the Omni Slash is going a little bit on the creeps helped, but you know, the Grave would have saved the Lina there either way. She just would have probably died earlier, or maybe even survived if he got low and just would have backed himself up. But I think Rune Eaters now, after that engagement, are gonna understand the way they should be playing Dota. I'm just still hoping they step a little bit over the river, because from what I'm seeing here in this game, they do have the strength to do so.
I love how Rune Eaters are basically maximizing what's happening on the map on their side, despite playing against the Aegis. If you looked at the graphs, how well they've recovered since Roshan happened, everything's just flowing in their favor currently. It's looking pretty good for Rune Eaters, despite what happened with the Roshan debacle.
I still think that their lineup has every single tool to deal with the Mind Games lineup. The problem is, as the game goes, you deal with those things with items. The Lincoln Spheres, the Four Staffs, the Aeon Discs, the Yule Scepter on the puck. All of those things are gonna help. And at some point... at some point you're gonna have the tools to survive the first initiation of Rune Eaters, and then the game becomes much easier if the fight is long. If you are able to get on top of the Lina, Rune Eaters will lose.
Definitely kill Cloud here. Basically just walks into the Scatter Blast, step at dispose onto the other side, and DK is taken down from 100 to 0. That's an easy kill for Mind Games. They're happy to take this one. They were very cautious with that play. They used the scan on the high ground. They were waiting for the DK to extend a little bit further and hoping for somebody to run into their vision, but they were able to get the DK just far enough away from the lane. And now Zovrik with the push towards the tower, but Hayes is again here with the Shadow Blade. This has already happened once. It's going to happen again, but there's the save from Bignum. And Zovrik's going to live with a beautiful stun on the backline. They got two with the coil. TA2000 in trouble. Hayes has gotten himself the PKP and the Lincolns. But look at that link from Petushara. It's even better. Two-man stun from TA2000, but he's already basically used all of his damage at this point. And Kaori will have to go for the quick Ghost Scepter for himself. And Aincrad even looking for the body blocks there as well with the puck. And that's 4 heroes down. And Mind Games are just on a completely different level. Zovrik, that's the second time. Last time he lost the Aegis. He's been controlled by the LSA stuns from the Shadow Blade. But Bignum, what a beautiful save on the Juggernaut. Just, who needs 4 staffs when you have Bignum on your team?
Well, they got a 4-staff on the Snaffar as well, so now you're gonna have 2 saves. Bignum was ready this time around. He knew what the win condition for the fight was. Saved Zovrik from the burst damage. It wasn't like he was gonna lose his focus this time around. He was just staying and looking at the Jugger. Having the Ethereal Lens allowed him to just move him away, and that is basically what won the fight for them. Also, just a beautiful coil, and what happened there is the Snaffar shot the Lina out of the coil, so the coil broke, and that is basically why the Lina died as well.
Mind Games with that victory, 1 step closer again, securing that spot in the Division 1. They already won the first game. All they need to do is win this one, and no second cycle of tiebreakers for relegation is needed. At that point, we might still play a 3rd game for seeding points, or seeding orders, I guess, in this case, who is number 7 and who is number 8. Might be a flare game, but Rune Eaters would love to play for an actual bet here, like an actual high-stakes game, get themselves the first win under the belt, and then it really comes down to what can Pariparni do in the 3rd game against Rune Eaters. It will definitely be played, but the result is going to be so much different to what happens in here. 4-man smoke coming in from Mind Games.
Now they're trying to overtake the top part of the map. They know that the Roche might be spawning, and they feel that they're strong enough. They have all of the items to survive what Rune Eaters have, and if you're running towards Rune Eaters, Dazzle and Lina are not going to be in good position, and that is what Mind Games are gunning for.
Gets 2. Doesn't catch TA2000 in it, but they still got the Dazzle, and they've eliminated their Grave. They're going to look for the RC kill, and instant buyback coming in from Kaori as well. The Omni Slash does do a decent amount of damage. Looking for Cloud here, so but the stun just connects on the Zovrik. Another pull over the LSA, and they got another one with TA2000. They're going to be able to take down the Juggernaut, and now Snaffar in big trouble, and Rune Eaters, they do come in with the buybacks and secure them some kills, and Cloud has himself the Dragon Tail. Razor's TP has been cancelled, and Rune Eaters will look to score a couple kills in their way, despite the supports buying back. They are the ones to take 4 kills. Unfortunately, Roshan is not up for them, but you see that Dawnbreaker deal out so much damage in that fight. That was a 1/3 of their team, and all the cores sharing a nice 1/3 of that full 9.7k damage they dealt in that fight.
Lucky for Mind Games that the Roche is not up. It would have been disastrous for them if that was the case. Mind Games, they found the perfect initiation, but the thing is you're fighting at your enemy's tower, so the buybacks are gonna be there. Still, if Mind Games go for an exact same smoke like this, get the exact same picks at the start of the fight, they're gonna win a fight convincingly. So at least around the Roche pit, Rune Eaters now for the second Roche, I'd say the most important objective of this game so far. They're not gonna have those buybacks, and the enemies still have control of their own outpost.
DK looking for an assault harass. You've got the Desolator for the Dawnbreaker, freshly picked up. Starting to rack up that extra damage from every kill that they get. And now an Aghanims as well for the DK, being finished for the Elder Dragon form. The fourth form for his ulti.
Cloud is strong. Cloud is really strong.
Cloud is strong. Only died twice this game. All we need is Arrow to get 6 kills and he'd be 666.
Eaters are under a ward. Rune Eaters are under a ward. They need to clear that one out. Okay, they are in a good position, but they can't step to the left side. I don't know if they're aware of that ward, but they can assume that it is there, considering that the enemy smoked towards that part of the map.
Yep. It does feel like both teams know. Yeah, I mean, they're both basically were under vision momentarily. At least Mind Games has a bit of a read advantage. They see the courier flying in. That is a shard. There's a psychic headband. Puck was looking for the courier snipe. Was thinking maybe somebody's already here. On the other side of the river, though, and the ward placed down for Rune Eaters. They've established a stronghold. T-2000 spots that Roshan is walking out of his pit. Somebody woke up the big guy from a slumber.
Right now, Rune Eaters are at an advantage because they are pushing out the mid lane, and the Mind Games, they can't do it. So they're gonna have to run into enemy vision where Rune Eaters are gonna be ready.
They found T-2000, and Puck has found a lot of enemies.
He's
And actually found a beautiful coil. He's got the entire team on the back line. They're going to take down Carry. That's a dive back on the Dazzle. You won't be able to come back at all. And Petushara's got the link as well. TA2000 has to look for disengaging or at least repositioning himself. But the Dragon Knight will go down as well. 3 gone, 4 gone. But the Dawnbreaker down on Aincrad. What an absolute giga chat. Beautiful scouting play into the massively aggressive 4-man coil. And just Rune Eaters were just standing still. It looked like they were disconnected for a second.
He single-handedly won that fight, but
Single-handedly won that fight.
Yeah, literally. I'm liking that you mentioned that, because what happened? Aincrad went in, he used the phase shift, and every single hero from Rune Eaters was just standing there and looking at him instead of just getting into a good position. DK in front, the supports in the back, Lina to the side, and the Dawnbreaker, she can be wherever the hell which she wants. This hero is just too strong. But instead of that, they just stand together and they're looking at the puck. He found his opening, he got the coil, and then it was an easy fight for Mind Games. To be honest, Mind Games were running into enemy vision. That fight should have gone to the side of Rune Eaters, but this is just, as you mentioned, disconnected and very bad communication inside of the fight for Rune Eaters.
Yeah, I guess Mind Games found themselves in a bot game, accidentally put in the wrong game in the queue. Well, that is very unforgivable for Rune Eaters, because you might have just lost your shot. You might just get relegated because of that. Just because of that one fight.
You know, they're not looking like the team. We talked about it. Cloud got kicked. He has to play because the rules state so. And you can see that they're just not playing as connected as a team. I'm not sure if they don't trust each other, what the case is, but that is just a classic case of you not discussing before the fight starts how you're gonna approach it, how you're gonna position it. It just comes down to, oh, we're gonna do it well when it comes to it, but then a boss like Aincrad jumps into you and you all get disconnected, you panic, and you get absolutely demolished.
This has been a 2-player show. It's been Aincrad on the puck and Fakenum on the Marcy. These 2 players have shown some ultimate level of skill here, and they're just making their opponents look silly. Now they're pushing the high ground. They finished up the tier 2 towers, and Dino Sovrik leading the charge. He's got the buff from the Marcy, which is really good. We talked about the agility heroes getting that extra punch. You're getting 65 extra right-click damage for a couple seconds, and that is very useful for pushing down objectives.
So they force the enemies into their
I
base
like
in the top
this.
lane. They're trying to cut them off.
This is a really good play. I really like the idea that you cut down the wave and smoke away. You don't stay sitting because obviously the opponent's not going to walk into your arms, but a quick play. Also, another thing that I like is having one player bait push the other lane because they suspect you're there when the other team is just basically smoking to the opposite side. And they're doing the move backwards. Might catch Cloud off guard. Lincoln's just run out of it, but he's gonna get stunned. Splinter Blast stun is there. Dawnbreaker wants to intervene with the healing, but DK is already history. Hayes looking for the stun of the backline. Eincrad thrown into the air, but with that Yule's being used by him, he is untouched. The Lincoln's pops as well, but he's fine. They've taken down Cloud, and that's 70 seconds of free roam.
That's 70 seconds for them to go for their axes on the top lane. There is no glyph. They just forced it out a second ago, and they're just gonna go and save their creeps. There is nothing the Rune Eaters can do about it. To be honest, with the way that fight started, you could say ideal for Rune Eaters. They're going for a DK, but the thing is, you're farther behind than you should be, and the Dazzle cannot get in time. Without the Grave, there is no turnaround in that fight, and this should at least be tier 3, if not a full set of racks.
Talk about obviously what's going to happen here. The Juggernaut, Aegis burnt out by TA2000. Slayer
jumped
did
in.
go for the very aggressive play here. Bignum is providing him with a movement speed thanks to the jump in. Assist him run out. Slayer does get out of harm's way, but they did burn the Aegis. They're going to be they're going to have another cautious push here, but with the spin, they can easily do it. Jugs finished off the tier 3 tower. Mind Games, they got what they were looking for here, but probably weren't expecting to lose the Aegis that soft.
I'm not sure if Slayer and Bignum communicated, but I'm gonna assume they are doing it now, that the one that should be saving the Jugger is Bignum. He has the Blink and the Ether Lens right now, and he can pretty much choose where he's gonna put the Jug, whereas, you know, Slayer, he has a Force Staff, and he's probably always gonna push him deep in, especially while the pushes are happening. So I think that is one thing that Mind Games should be discussing when coming up the hill. Who is the one that saves the carry, and Bignum is the perfect one for this game in particular.
Wild stuff when you're kind of looking at how do they set themselves up into the position they are currently in. Even, like outside of this game, you look at Petushara. He got kicked from Empire, then he got to play against his old team, was looking for the revenge victory. He got it in the TI qualifiers last year. You have Eincrad. Actually, to add up to that, Empire is out of Division 2. They're gone. They have to play for the qualifiers for the next DPC tour. You have Eincrad. He played for Nemiga. He was removed from the roster. Nemiga, after that, basically just dropped out completely. And they might just look for him here. And that puck kill is going to be a certainty with a gem on the ground. We'll get back to Eincrad's story because it has to fulfill the full story with the Omni Slash. Does do a nice amount of damage here. Dino Zofric, he is spinning for victory and looks down Hayes. TA2000 with the BKB at least could give himself some immunity for the time being, but Cloud is about to drop. They did take down the Juggernaut, but they've already lost 3, and Puck did buy back. Eincrad, he sees his moment has come. And will force them away the cookie. Will just disappear into the skies with that Yule's being used, but that was just another fight, you know. That was the Puck buyback.
Slayer, with the current state of the world, wasting food, just throwing it into the wind. That is, you know, he's not gonna have a lot of fans after this game. But Rune Eaters, they did find a nice engagement. They are definitely powerful enough to fight in this game. It comes back to it. If they are holding the right position, their lineup just allows them to fight against the Mind Games. So I'm looking at this Jug. I'm thinking, what can he get so that he can survive?
No BKB in the bot lane. It might just actually look for a Dawn kill here. The coil's going to be coming out. That's a 25 Puck that's going to be landing on top of you. He gives the sorry, but the team is like, I couldn't do anything else. Dawn gone for 100 seconds as a buyback. Might have to use it. Big, no, beautiful long catch on KRE.
Why was he there?
That's a good question, my friend.
That's very weird.
Eincrad, who played for an Amiga, they weren't able to get into Division 2 for the playoffs. Now, Namiga has made their way back to Division 1, so that also means that Einkrad is going to get to play against his whole team in the next season if they keep this up. 17,000 gold lead. Mind Games looking to close out that one spot to keep themselves in Division 1.
Very nice read from Mind Games. A lot of teams within this kind of a situation be like, take their axes, but they understand. They understand how you win this game. You want to fight in an open territory where you're actually able to save your guys. You went for so many defensive items, and if you're just in a bad position, you can still lose a fight, and then you know, this lead could be halved after just one engagement. You don't want that to happen. I'm just looking at this Juggernaut. I'm thinking, okay, Axe is actually a really good item for you to get the second round of Blade Fury without dying in between.
Lina has that eternity of a coil to fight against when the Omni Slash comes out. Dawnbreaker coming with a buyback at least to try and defend the base. Somehow TA2000 though pops his ulti and has to instantly try to pull back to the Fountain, but they're fighting back against Petishara, but it's not going to be enough. There's going to be a dieback of the Dawnbreaker. They do find the Marcy. Big Gnome will fall, but Mind Games have already finished off the racks while that was happening, and they got the Dawnbreaker buyback. So one more fight like this, and it's all over.
It's literally just
Kara is dying to a
is
TA trap. TA trap, what the hell was that? Some dots on KR. It felt like a TA trap for a moment because he was slowed and he was taking tick damage. What am I even saying here, man?
The A2000 is in the game, I guess,
Yeah.
so it's quite normal.
Classic brain fart. I mean, TA2K. TA2K. 30
the guy
seconds
you're
left.
cheering for is dead, you know, and he's dead because he decided to leave his base and go farm the wave where he had no one to help him. I think he was banging on the fact that the enemies are gonna think the supports are behind him, but that wasn't the case. I think right now Mind Games, the smartest move would be just to stay in the Roche pit and wait for it. Obviously, they don't know that it's gonna spawn, but no one is even checking if the Roche spawns now in their minds, and they are there to take it. I think that's GG. Rune Eaters are not gonna have much to do about that.
Maybe Slayer's the hero. He's pinging the Roche pit. It's like, hey, we should maybe check Roche. They hurt Harry, and ta-da! There's Roshan. He's got a refresher shard as well, so we got some good stuff waiting for them here. Jeez, refresher, Aegis, all for the taking. And just to close out, one more team fight in Mind Games. Look for the victory. What is Rune Eaters gonna do? What needs to happen for them to have success?
Your Dawnbreaker isn't alive, so you cannot wait for the enemies in the triangle. The ideal situation right now would be to get out of the base, place a ward, and wait there. Since you can't do it, it's a high ground defense where you're not gonna have a much say in it. It just comes down to it if Mind Games are gonna communicate correctly between themselves how to approach this this high ground push, just who is gonna be saving the Juggernaut from the stun. And to be honest, they have so much time to actually think about it, so I don't think that they can get it wrong, especially because they have a 30k gold lead, so all of the items are there. And look at the Snapfire. That is something that we haven't talked about. That is the damage dealer in this one.
Snapfire with the Daedalus. I mean, all you can do is just blow raspberries. That is wild. That is wild. TA2000 again to clear out the creep wave in the front. And it just takes one move. There's the Omni Slash. Dawn is dropping low. Brave comes out. Will be able to flee back to the fountain. Or are you? Ulti up to break the coil. It won't happen. We've got Rune Eaters just losing their heroes inside the base. They're too far behind. That's a full-on team wipe. GG, well played. Mind Games will keep their spot in Division 1. And Rune Eaters with Potty Potany are both getting relegated.
They almost won that fight, Rune Eaters. That was very, very close. You can see that the gold swing was from 30k to 19k there for Mind Games, you know, so Rune Eaters really did great in that fight. Props to them, of course. I'm guessing that everyone knows that I'm not serious, and that was just a clear representation what happens when you have a lineup that should be ahead, that should be holding areas, just being able to hunt people down, and you don't do anything. Rune Eaters with all of their smokes in the mid game, and with none of them being successful, they just put themselves in this position. So to be honest, I'm glad Mind Games won. They are the team that didn't get to go to the major, and you know, they deserved it, but didn't get the visas. So it would feel really bad for them if they dropped down. But they did manage to stay in Division 1, and hoping we see more from these guys.
Yeah, I mean, Mind Games definitely showing why they want to stay in, where they had the bigger hunger, the bigger fight, and honestly, when you look about when you think about the storylines of these, I kind of brought them up already, but might as well again. I mean, Einkrad with being he's an ex-kicked member from Nemiga, a team that fell out completely from Division 2 and is now climbing their way back to Division 1. You've got Mind Games keeping him in the roster. Hopefully, I mean, he's a promising player, and then they'll get to play their rematches, maybe a grudge match maybe for the next coming seasons. Who knows? And then you have players like Petushara getting their revenge as well on previous teams, getting kicked and getting picked up. And Mind Games, they've got the players. They've got these new players basically who are ready to and willing. They've got the motivation. They've got themselves the readiness to continue building on from here. And, you know, it's just a great story to see that they're going to keep their spot in Division 1 and keep acclaiming that experience. That is very important for these youngsters to get to play against the top teams in East Europe for another season to come.
And I'm glad because, you know, after what has happened to them, you could see them like kind of losing spirit, and especially if they would drop to Division 2. But this is at least gonna keep them in the game. Obviously not the greatest tour for them, but they have shined in the qualifiers thus far, so maybe we're gonna be seeing them shine in the TI qualifiers that are gonna be coming in a few months.
Maybe, potentially, but hey, we're going to take a tiny break. We've got one more game to come. It's, I mean, both teams already Al Potipotny versus Rune Eaters, but hey, it's for a difference of $1,000, so there is something on the line for these two teams, so don't leave the channel just quite yet. We'll take a tiny break, and we'll be back for the final game.